Good afternoon, Bloggy Conference. How are y'all doing today?
Wonderful.
See, the correct answer to that is awesome, and I'll get to that in a minute. So first of all, thanks you, all of you, for having me back at Bloggy Conference. This is my second year here. I see a few familiar faces already. So first of all, let's just give a round of applause to the Bloggy Conference team for putting this together. So for those of you who did not attend my session last year, my name is Roberto Blake, and I am a creative entrepreneur. I'm a YouTuber, and today's session is going to be about vlogging and taking your blogging content to video format in the form of vlogging. I actually started my personal brand with blogging and just doing blogs about what my career was at the time, which was primarily graphic design and advertising. I did that for years, and it did work out pretty well for me. I made some revenue on Google AdSense. I did get into some publications as a digital artist and as a graphic designer. But where the real pivot in my personal brand happened was online video in the form of YouTube. In July of 2013, I had 0 subscribers in YouTube, and I started doing educational content. They were just doing what I knew. And now, 4 years later, I have over 250,000 subscribers. I've gotten to work with tremendous brands, built a 6-figure personal brand outside of my consulting business around this platform. And so I'm going to teach you pretty much how I did that and how you can take your blogging written content, because how many of you have blogs right now? How many of you have websites? See, every single one of you has the potential to take that content to video format and to scale it exponentially in terms of financial upside for you and in terms of reach and awareness. And I'm going to explain why in a minute. So what I'm going to break down in this session, as you can see, is how to bring that content to YouTube, what you need to get started in terms of gear and equipment, your best practices in YouTube, understanding a content strategy that'll work, what quality content looks like, how to monetize, and how you build and connect with your community. So that's what we're going to be covering. And again, just a little bit of background on me. I've done over 1,000 videos on YouTube in the past 4 years. That is a ton of content. I don't think everyone in here has to become a daily vlogger. I think that doing a video a week is a good place to start, and then I think the threshold is if you really start to get going, you do 3 a week and you will be a lot more successful. But if you can get to 5 or you can get to daily, that's when the magic really happens. But don't feel the pressure to go there before you're ready. I certainly didn't. I started with 1 video a week. It was Photoshop Thursdays, which means you could bet that it would come out Friday or Saturday. So, you know, again, don't put so much pressure on yourself. I've done everything from YouTube videos to live streaming and all the other platforms, done over 1,000 live videos there as well. And so there are a lot of things and tips that I can give you contextually that are going to be helpful. Ultimately, when it comes down to creating content, you have to ask yourself, what are your values? What matters to you, and how is that going to resonate and matter to other people? Because I think that it's something we all take for granted when we talk about YouTube videos and online content. Why does somebody watch? We watch people because we connect with them emotionally. We watch them because they have something to offer us in terms of value, whether that's relatability or whether that's great information or whether it's just understanding that someone walks in our shoes and we're not alone. That's why we bother to give them our time. That's why we tune in, and that's also why brands will work with us. So you have to understand what your value is, what your values are, and what your story is, and how you're going to communicate that authentically to people. People watch for a connection, just like I said. The reason that people started watching me on YouTube is I'm a creative. I don't want to be a starving artist. I want to do things like take pretty pictures and mess around in Photoshop and do like independent like filmmaking. And I want to do it without living in a cardboard box. I think a lot of people relate to that. Okay, many of you in here, your parents. How many of you are parents? How many of you have kids that have like tremendous creativity and you're putting their artwork up on the fridge? Quite a few of you. How many of you are concerned that they may not be able to make it in the world doing that? All right, only a few of you are concerned and everything. The rest of you must have the most talented kids on the planet. Congratulations, give yourselves a round of applause. No, go ahead, clap it up. Right? But we're looking for that. We're looking for a connection. So I think people connected with me because I was able to help them understand some business stuff, some very practical things. And I did it from the place of having a career in corporate America and then actually being able to go out on my own and still survive. And I think that's something that a lot of people were looking for, and they aspired to that. But then also they were able to relate to me because I'm not afraid to be a nerd. I'm not afraid to make my 80s puns that no one understands, except maybe the people in this room. And I'm not afraid to talk about how much I love Star Wars. Yeah, you know. So, with that being said, stay tuned for episode 8. It's going to be amazing. So, as a creative entrepreneur, I make content around what I know, and that might mean some days I'm making a Photoshop tutorial. Some days I'm going to talk about how I built my YouTube channel. Some days I'm going to talk about how to make money online, which are usually my most successful videos. So those are the things I talk about. I talk about what I know, but sometimes I vlog. Sometimes I pick up this camera, which is a little fancy because it has the flip out screen and can handle low light, and this is a little expensive. This is a Sony RX100 Mark V, and this is like $1,000, but that's not where I started. I started with a camera that retails for about $350 today with a lens. Okay, so you don't have to have the most wildly expensive equipment in the world. In fact, a lot of times what I would do, and what I still do to this day, is when I'm pressed for time and I need to make something, I pull out this and I make content, because this is still a better storytelling device than what Spike Lee had when he shot Do the Right Thing. You could literally take a laptop, take this, and build an empire. And again, that's what we're going to get into today. It's entirely possible to do. These just keep getting better and better. Anybody see that like Apple announced a new phone just last week? And yeah, the camera is going to be ridiculous on that. It's insane. And now Google is announcing another phone as well. So if you think that no one will watch you because you're filming on this, then I'm going to have to explain to you how YouTube works, which I'm going to get into. But I think that we've seen through Snapchat and Vine and Instagram that your phone is more than good enough to produce some of the best content that people have ever seen, because what they're looking for is not a beautiful piece of cinematography that competes with the latest Marvel or DC film. What they're looking for is an emotional connection, and a lot of them also want something that they can aspire to. And now all of us have this, you know, if we're fortunate enough, the majority of us have a smartphone in our pocket, which means I can do it too, if I'm good enough, and if I have the discipline, and if I'm willing to learn, and if I'm willing to do what it takes. And that in itself is a very valuable thing for people to see someone like you, aka someone like them, putting themselves out there. It's going to be the thing that makes them take a next step. It's going to be the thing that changes their life. When you share that experience of the fact that you're sharing what your family is about, you're sharing what your personal experiences or struggle has been about, that's what's going to do it. That's what's going to matter. So here are some ideas for vlogging with that in mind. Tell stories about your life. Some of the videos that made my community go to a deeper level of engagement with me had nothing to do with my actual, status as a creative entrepreneur and doing the thing that I love. It had to do with the fact that I opened up to them about my struggles with depression and anxiety. It had to do with the fact that that was something that was very relatable to them and something they were experiencing too, and it amazed them to see that somebody that they admire, that's at a level that they would like to be at, goes through the same crap as them every single day, and that no amount of success makes you any less human and any less vulnerable. And the fact is that we live in a world right now where people are afraid to be vulnerable, and where we have a lot of people spreading fake positivity, telling people what they want to hear, and cheerleading, and it has the opposite effect. What it does is it paints this false narrative that if you only get here and you only succeed, and if you only become internet famous or you only make enough money, that your life will automatically be perfect and better and you won't struggle anymore. And it's not true. When you have the courage to own your vulnerability, your audience responds to it in a whole new way. All of a sudden, instead of casually listening to you, they hang on your every word, because now you're a human being. You're not just some status symbol. Showcase events in your everyday life. A lot of the channels that young people watch are family vloggers. And does anyone know why? Anyone have a guess? Anybody? Yes.
They might want a family like that.
Exactly. They might want a family like that. Anyone here remember the ABC show Step by Step?
Yes.
Family Matters?
Yes.
Boy Meets World? Okay, do you know why we remember that? Because there were aspects of the Wonder Years?
Yes.
Okay, so the reason we fall in love with these sitcoms, you know, aside from me crushing on Winnie Cooper and on Topanga, like, yeah, so aside from that, we watch these things because there's some yearning in us to have that kind of life, those type of experiences, that type of lifestyle. Don't you think it's even more relatable when those things aren't scripted and it's not actors and it's people in the real world and people that you can reach out to on Twitter and Instagram and that you can actually have a chance at having a conversation with them on top of it? See, that actually really matters to people. So again, showcasing things in your everyday life is really important. Demonstrating something that you do in your everyday life. You know how many people like would love to, because their parents, they might be a latchkey kid, right? They would love to have a video where they can just watch parents with their children teaching them things in day-to-day life that their parents might not have had the time to experience with them and show them. Whether it's tying their first tie, tying their shoes, whatever it is, riding a bike, because you know what? One, they're gonna take the lesson away, but two, it's an emotional experience that is like standing in the gap for them because it's not something they have. So just kind of keep in mind that whatever it is that you do in your day-to-day life that you take for granted as being easy, that literally by just showing that and showcasing that you're creating value for somebody and that you might be being there for them when nobody else is. So showing up and doing that actually really matters to people. You can comment on current events and things that are going on. This is a great way to get attention and to stand out. I would avoid controversies personally, but sometimes they have their place, and sometimes you need to be a voice of reason or sanity or a voice of comfort to people. So it actually might be a good thing to do that because we have so much like horrible things sometimes that happen in the world. Somebody being there and being able without fluff to tell us why it's going to be okay and that they're here for us, that actually sometimes really is important to do and can matter to people. So again, why I tend to shy away from controversy, I don't necessarily think that you always need to do that or you should. I think there's an appropriate way to do it from a place of good intentions that really matters to people, especially families who may not have figured out how to explain something that their children are seeing or hearing about and putting it into context for them. Maybe you're able to help be an assistant to those other families and to those parents. One of the last things, crowdsource questions directly from your community. If you have an audience, even if it's 10 people, I'm sure they're more than happy to tell you what they want to see from you. I'm sure they have no shortage of opinions about your content, okay? So if you're comfortable, reach out, they will let you know. And also you can document an event. You can document a day at the fair. You can document getting ready to go to a concert. You can document what you guys are doing for the holiday. You know, those are all opportunities. So if you're like, Roberto, I have no idea how to vlog, I don't have any ideas. Well, there you go. There's a list for you. Another great reference for those of you getting started with vlogging is a book called Vlog Like a Boss. It's by my good friend Amy Schmittauer, another YouTuber, another YouTube educator and marketer, and she's just amazing. Hashtag not sponsored. Amy, like the checks in the mail? Like, no. Anyway, so yeah, definitely take a look at that because I think it's one of the better comprehensive guides and it's a really nice short read and it's really valuable. So what you'll notice up here on the screen is vlogging gear. I talked about some of the things I use and I pointed out that you can use your phone. This is what is known as a point and shoot camera or an advanced point and shoot camera. It's advanced because it has a flip out screen, it has a zoom, and because the audio inside does not suck, and I can just put these little wind muff things on here whenever it's windy and my audio will be passable. So the reason I like this particular one is that even in low light situations, even if I'm on like the streets of New York at night, I can be confident that this is going to be usable, okay? So that's why I like it. This one's a little bit more expensive. This is $1,000, but to be honest with you, right now, for $1,000, this eliminates the need for me to have like a microphone or anything else. I could literally just take this in situations 99 out of 100 times and be confident that I can make something usable. And I could literally, if I only wanted to be a vlogger, I could eliminate all of my other gear for the most part and just rely on this. That's why it's a good investment at $1,000. There are alternatives like the Canon point and shoot cameras, like the Canon G7 series. The reason that I prefer this is the autofocus is better. And if you have a darker complexion, this also has what's called phase detection. That's a technical term. Basically what you need to know is that it helps in situations where there's not enough contrast between you and the background, aka low light situations, you know. So that's extraordinarily helpful. And whenever you get really fancy, it has 4K and slow-mo, and it's awesome. So that's why I use this camera. In most cases, you don't need anything that fancy. For about $500 or less, you can get what is called a DSLR or mirrorless camera. If you like doing family vacations, the odds are you might already own a camera good enough to do YouTube videos. So that is an option. If you are doing, anyone here do DIY or sewing or do anything crafty in nature, then a little GoPro for about $300–400, unless you want to get an older model, could be a really good investment for you, because you can go ahead and do what's called time lapses. And those of you who do Facebook and Instagram, time lapses are great. You can incorporate those into your YouTube videos, but it's also great promo in the rest of your social media, because by just shooting a little time lapse of you doing that crafting or, you know, doing something like that, you can speed it up. And it's great with background music when people just want to see something and you don't have any voice or anything talking going on in Instagram and in Facebook. And those actually do really well. They're great for getting attention. So that's handy, and it can spice up your YouTube videos a little bit too. Again, primary, you know, storytelling device that can do most of what you need and do almost all of it. Your smartphone. This you can plug a microphone in and get great audio out of. This is capable of live streaming. This is capable of time lapses, slow-mo, recorded video, and they only get better and better every single year. So if you can't invest in anything in terms of a dedicated piece of equipment right now, you can get this, a selfie ring light, a microphone, whether it's a clip-on, you know, it doesn't have to be wireless like what I have right now. It could just be a $20 clip-on microphone, or it can be like a $50 or $60 little shotgun microphone, plugs right in there. Guess what? That is good enough for you to start making videos. Just get a tripod and an attachment, or one of the bendy tripods, and you're good to go. So you don't have to be Casey Neistat to make good vlogs. Yeah, I mean, those of you who watch YouTube know exactly who I'm talking about. It's like, love you, Casey, but you don't have to do that. He'll tell you himself, the gear is an excuse for most people to just not do something. So you know what the basics are, you know what you need. Also, you need a little bit of video editing software. If you're a Mac person, show of hands, Mac people. Guess what? You got iMovie. Congratulations. Anybody here an Adobe user? Guess what? You already have Premiere Pro. Congratulations. So most of you already have the tools you need. If you need something free though to start with, for mobile phone apps, I recommend Adobe Premiere Clip. That's free. You just sign up an email for Creative Cloud. And if you need something cheap to get started, Cyberlink Power Director is good, and Adobe Premiere Elements is good as well. If you already own Photoshop, technically you can do video editing in Photoshop. And there are great tutorials out there from Flern and TutVid on how to do that. I'll have one coming out soon. If you use Premiere Pro, I've got a ton of tutorials for you. For the Apple users, I'll have some Final Cut stuff coming out soon. But there's a ton of free software out there. I've done videos explaining free software you can use, and there's a lot of things that are under $100 that you can get, like Cyberlink and like Premiere Elements. So don't shy away from this because you're saying it's too expensive. There are ways to get around that, and just keep it simple. So let's look at some YouTube best practices real quick. You can use this list. I'm also going to make sure this slide deck gets out to everybody. But best practices on YouTube, learn the features of YouTube. Go to the YouTube help site and their Creator Hub website and YouTube channel, and they will tell you a lot of what the best practices are. They also have a lot of 3-minute videos just to help you get started with specific features, but you want to learn the features. The main thing that I would encourage you to do is make 10 or 30 videos before you start worrying about whether anyone's watching, because you need to get into the habit of making videos. You need some data to look at. You need something that people can give you feedback on. Do not worry about your numbers. Do not worry about your numbers. When it comes to your numbers, blindfold yourself for the love of God, please. Because the numbers, I'm being dead serious though, the numbers, if you're, almost everyone here is a parent, right? Show of hands. Your kid gets discouraged when they play something and they look at the scoreboard, right? Okay, you're an adult and it still sucks. So stop looking at the scoreboard. Don't worry about what the other kids are doing. Don't worry about the other kids with 1 million subscribers. And I literally mean kids. Jake Paul, Liza Koshy, these kids. you know, sitting here crushing me in the platform. I'd be so depressed if I worried about that, because you know what I worry about instead? The one person that says, thank you, I needed that. That's the only thing I worry about. The one person who says, that's exactly what I needed. Thank you, Roberto. That's all I need. And more importantly for me, I'm an artist. I'm a creator. You realize that like at 33 years old, by the way, I know I look super young, 33 years old, I spent the majority of my life before the internet drawing thousands of drawings and getting a pat on the head for 2 or 3 people. We didn't have likes, shares, followers, hearts. We didn't have none of that crap. I didn't have any no, there were if you were an artist, you didn't get participation trophies. Should have been a jock. Should have been a jock. Then I could be entitled too. I could be an entitled millennial if I had just bothered to really get good at sports. Artist? Oh no, artists know about hustle. We don't get participation trophies. You can get first place and get nothing as an artist, okay? So there's that. But anyway, best practices. Be consistent, upload frequently, don't worry about the numbers. Oh, I don't have motivation to upload, Roberto, because no one's watching. Get over it, upload, because you're going to learn. You're going to get good, you're going to get comfortable on camera. You're going to get your on-camera presence and charisma going up and up the more you do it. You're going to get better at filmmaking techniques. You're going to get comfortable to experiment. You're going to find that courage. So do that. Learn about YouTube SEO and discovery strategy. If you don't know where to start, most of you are bloggers, so guess what? Most of the same rules for SEO apply to YouTube. That was my disproportionate advantage coming to the platform, was I understood SEO and wasn't putting one-word tags in my keywords like so many people are wont to do. I knew, yeah, you know what? I learned how this worked from the world of blogging. I know that you actually put sentences in your keywords and that it should be called key phrases, so people don't do that. So just apply a lot of the same lessons. Content strategy. Anyone here ever write a list post, a list article? Top 10 article? Guess what? It works really well on YouTube. Just go look at the top 5,000 channels on YouTube. Trust me, it works. So again, just look at best practices, engage with your audience, have an actual business plan for monetizing. I will get to the how you make money part because we're all really excited about that. So there you go. And again, I'll get those slides out to you. Visual branding, make your thing stand out. I can get picked out, and literally on the way here, I got picked out in the airport by a subscriber because I have a unique visual style. I wear these hats, and I have literally 12 of them in different colors in every video, and I get recognized. I get picked out of the crowd in Madison Avenue. I got picked out of the crowd at the airport here in Ohio at Cleveland International by a guy who actually, he's not even the biggest fan of mine. His girlfriend is, and he knew me from her watching, and so literally we filmed a little me saying hi to her that he could send her, and actually she called him right as we were finishing that up, and I spoke to her for 3 minutes. So believe it or not, engaging with your audience and having something that makes you stand out so they can recognize you is really important. But also make sure you're doing that on your channel. If you have different types of content, which you should, give them a unique packaging so that someone can see that these videos are different than these videos. Think about an actual television show, an actual television channel. They all have, anyone here watch the CW? Anybody here watch what's another television network? Because I don't watch TV. But anyway, I watch Netflix because, anyway, my point is everything, every movie, every franchise, every book has its own unique style and branding. They have books are judged by their covers. YouTube channels are judged by their thumbnails. They're judged by their channel artwork. They're judged by their aesthetic. So these are the components of YouTube aesthetic. Channel artwork, thumbnails, your profile picture, whether in the video you have a different set of coloring and a backdrop or whatever it is. The fact that you're filming in front of your bookshelf, and then people will notice if you actually change out the books on your bookshelf, believe it or not. Those things all matter. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you can create a unique visual style for your channel and that you can differentiate it. Color coordinate different types of content. That's a really good way for people to notice, oh, that's a little different. Do something that's consistent enough to where they can pick your thumbnails out of anywhere. One of the most successful YouTubers is Jake Paul, because he changed his entire thumbnail strategy and it grew him when he experimented with it by 5 million more subscribers than he already had in 6 months. And a lot of people don't understand how important that just literally, because he was doing the same kind of stuff. All he didn't even change his content. All he did was change his thumbnails. These are some of my YouTube videos. You'll notice that I did some very specific things that make my videos stand out or distinct, and you can tell which things are a Photoshop tutorial and which things are a Premiere Pro tutorial. You can tell which things are a product review and which things are not. I made it really easy to figure that out. Make it easy on your viewers to figure out exactly what it is that you're doing. Don't make them think about it too hard. That's how you're gonna get clicks. 5 secrets to YouTube success. This is something that almost no one will tell you, partly because they don't know. They just don't know. But ultimately, understanding your audience is the key to success. If you understand why the first 10 people subscribe to you, you'll be able to use that information to get 100 people. Once you figure out why 100 people subscribe to you, that will help you out how to get 1,000 more people. And what that means in real world terms is go and look at your analytics and actually see which videos got you the most views, which videos got you the most subscribers, which videos got you the most money, and literally do more things in common with that. And when all else fails, ask your audience what they want. Larger creators have an advantage over small creators, but guess what? Unlimited opportunity, because every creator starts with 0, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. A lot of the young people in YouTube, you know how they blew up in YouTube? They've been doing YouTube for years and never made it. What they did was they went to other platforms. They went to Instagram, Vine, and Snapchat, and they figured something out there, connected with people emotionally, and then that made them care about other things that they did, and then they were able to grow their YouTube channel. There's more than one way to do this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You can figure it out. And guess what? There's always room at the top, because what nobody will tell you is that there are over 15 million active YouTubers, and there are only 5,000 of them that have over 1 million subscribers as of right now. And of people that are at my level with a silver play button with over 100,000 subscribers, there's only about 50,000 of those people out of 15 million. Out of all of those channels, there's saturation in a lot of genres, mostly gaming and tech and beauty. And guess what? That means that for anything you're doing that isn't that, there's unlimited opportunity because you're not represented at the top. Somebody is doing what you're doing but hasn't done it yet. That is good enough for the majority of people who would watch that to actually watch it yet. So there's unlimited opportunity, because when everyone says YouTube is saturated, they're not qualifying that on data. They're not qualifying that in any meaningful way, because individual genres of YouTube are saturated, but there aren't. I can't name, nobody can name me 300 YouTube channels for real saturation that are about automobiles, that have 1 million subscribers. No one can tell me that there are 500 YouTube channels about motorcycling and about motovlogging. No one can tell me that that's the truth. No one can even name 100 YouTube channels with 1 million subscribers on that. There are not 100 YouTube channels with 1 million subscribers that are book YouTubers that do book reviews. There's just not. So understand that the saturation is meaningless. Like I said earlier, you can use other platforms. You can use other platforms to either elevate and accelerate your views and subscribers in YouTube, or you could blow up in those other platforms and then just cross it over. Instagram, really great opportunity there. In many ways, Snapchat is the new Vine, so there's opportunities there as well. And now that anybody on Snapchat can get the swipe up feature to link out, you could be using that to promote your YouTube content. So there's opportunities there. Twitter is a great distribution center for YouTube videos. A lot of you are bloggers. Have any of you ever gotten your blogs picked up and syndicated by somebody else or retweeted by a bigger person than you? Yeah? You can do that even more easily when it comes to video content in YouTube. You can do that by, if you do a sponsorship with a brand, and we'll get to how you make money with those opportunities, but if you do something, even if you're not doing a sponsorship, if you review something from a brand that you love, and you do a YouTube video and you tweet it at them, there's a very good chance that they will retweet it. And it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, they just like that you did cool content with their brand, and that somebody, without them paying, gave them free promotion, and they'll promote that. Sometimes they'll even reach out to you and ask you if they can license or use it. I know YouTubers who make no money on ad revenue, but have a 6-figure personal brand and business because they produce content. They don't even have a lot of subscribers, and yet their video quality is so good, and their videos are so good that a brand said, you know what, it's cheaper for us to hire you to make content than for us to do it ourselves in-house. How would you like $500 for every video you make, and can you do one a week for us? And all of a sudden, you get 3 or 4 brands doing that, and money's taking care of itself all of a sudden. So those are things that you should just look at. Watch time. Watch time matters more than views and subscribers, because we're trading in the idea of people's attention. You guys gave me 45 minutes to an hour of your time today that you're not going to get back. Hope it was worth it. So guess what? That's very real to people. So if you're getting watch time, that matters a lot more to YouTube than your view count, because people can fake views. People have been known to fake and buy subscribers. Their accounts get shut down, but it happens. We all saw the Instagram purge happen last year, right? And we saw that like people, even Justin Bieber and a lot of these celebrities had apparently, or their people had been buying, followers for them. But guess what? You can't fake. You can't fake actually sitting down, not doing your homework, not mowing your grass, not washing the dishes, and watching a YouTube video. You just can't. Titles and thumbnails matter more than people realize. We don't click on YouTube videos because of the subscriber count. In fact, we don't even click on them sometimes because of the view count. We click on them because guess what? When it's posted in Facebook and Twitter, where a lot of us are, especially us, we're in Facebook a lot, I would imagine. Anybody here on Facebook pretty regularly? Show of hands? Okay, yep, good amount of people. All right, so guess what? When you're in Facebook, do you see the subscriber count of a YouTube channel? When you're in Twitter, doesn't show up, doesn't even show you how many views it got on it? Right. You're clicking on it because of the title and the thumbnail catching your attention and mattering to you. So in the end, it's really all that matters. Types of content on YouTube: hub, help, and hero content. Help content, the thing I specialize in, tutorials, how-tos, walkthroughs, things like that. Hub content is more vlogging, more story time, more personal experiences, and even rants and venting. Hero content. That's usually much higher produced content and things that have viral potential, things that would get picked up in a press cycle. That's when you're talking about something that's trending. That's when you're talking about something that might be newsworthy, or a response to something newsworthy, or a headline or a controversy. Those are the kind of things that get picked up by BuzzFeed. So that's what the three types of content are in YouTube. And what I feel usually is the appropriate ratio of balance is, because you guys are bloggers, you know how important search is. YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. By 2020, it's on track to overtake Google, its own parent company, as the #1 search engine in the world. It's the second most trafficked website in the world right now. It beat Facebook on that. Okay, so understand the power of YouTube. You can elevate your blogging with YouTube videos. You can elevate your YouTube videos with blogging. There's an intersection there because YouTube and Google are the top, and it's an ecosystem, and they're symbiotic. Whenever you do a video in YouTube, it shows up as a search result in Google for that same topic. If you're struggling to rank your blog articles in Google, you can elevate yourself and give yourself a second opportunity with a YouTube video. So again, you can even take all your old content that you have and make videos around it, and it might fit into one of these three categories. The balance that I find is that if you go 50, 40, 10 for the majority of people, that is a good balance. 50% of your stuff being search friendly, 40% of it being for the community of followers you already have, big or small, and then trying to figure out a way where maybe 10% of your content is your attempt at going viral and making a video pop. And if you go with that strategy, then you probably have a better chance. Most people fail on YouTube because they do hub content when they don't even have a community. They don't have a blog, so they don't have an audience. They don't have a Twitter, they don't have an Instagram. They have no audience, but yet they're trying to make people, be a part of a community from zero. You need something that is valuable to the other person first to be able to build off of, in my experience and in my opinion, if you don't already have a platform. If you don't already have a following somewhere and you're starting from zero, then before you go hub, you need to be helpful and you need to be informative to people. Let them trust you on the quality of your information and then come to like you for your personality. Make them value you objectively and logically, and then build that emotional connection after trust has been established. And then they'll be rooting for you and they might help you when it comes to going viral. A lot of people, especially young people, walk completely backwards. They try to go viral, they try to make people care about them, and then as a last resort, they'll try and do something that people would search for. So just kind of keep that in mind. Create awesome content. That's all I want to do, and that's all anybody needs to do. What is quality content? There are three components of objective quality when it comes to a technical level. Visual quality. Don't be blurry, don't be out of focus. Don't have your thing be like, super bright, super dark. Make it visually acceptable. Please don't hurt my eyeballs. I like them not bleeding. Audio quality. Audio matters. You can have the poorest video quality in the world, and I might forgive it if the audio doesn't suck. Editing quality. Make sure things don't run on too long sometimes. Make sure that you're not doing lazy edits with obvious mistakes. Just make sure that those things are tight. Those things are important. But then here's what's more important. Subjective quality, because what? We can make a great cinematic masterpiece, and if it falls flat and there's no emotional connection, no one gives a crap. It's like, I will tell you, most people don't care about your art. As an artist, I can tell you that, hand to God, most people don't care about your art. They really don't. They care about what matters to them. So, is this interesting to me? Is this relevant to what I'm going through right now? Is this engaging with me? Is this emotionally satisfying to me? These are the things that ultimately matter to people and make them care and make them come back for content. Nobody cares about how hard you work. I'm sorry, nobody cares. And I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. I can work as hard as I want on a video. I can sit there and I can have the greatest cinematography. I can go and fly my drone and I can have it in 4K and it won't matter. I can just get on camera and I can literally rant in the middle of Times Square and it will literally get 50 times more views. Not even kidding. Why? Because maybe I'm upset about something that other people are upset about. You know, maybe if I could make a video today. I could make a video right now in real time and say 10 reasons the new iPhone 10 sucks. And because that's an emotional trigger to some people, whether they agree with me or not, that will get views. And I could do it all on my phone with shaky Cloverfield camera quality shaking going on, no stabilization, no Joby Gorilla Pod for me. I could do that and it will outperform a video that is cinematically perfect, that doesn't meet this standard. So subjective quality beats objective quality. Here's the secret, do both. So, content strategy. And sorry that the slideshow thing, the projector is cutting that off a little bit, but again, I'll get the slides out to everybody. But all you're missing is my headline. You know, it matters in YouTube, it doesn't matter when I'm doing this. Have a regular upload schedule and frequency. Pick a day of the week, any day of the week. Pick a card, any card, right? So do that. And then if you figure that day, and by the way, don't worry about the YouTube algorithm on that, just pick a day that works with your schedule, especially if you have a family. Just pick days and times that work with your schedule and where you can be consistent. Make videos at your time of peak energy, by the way. That's a big hack. Make a playlist, a featured playlist for your channel. Go to your channel and make sure that it's not just sitting here looking like a Facebook feed in history. Lay out the channel like you see all professional YouTubers do. You can do that with 0 subscribers, that you can go ahead and make a featured playlist by making a playlist and saying, these are all my DIY videos. These are all of the personal videos. These are the videos with me and my kids. Like, make a playlist that makes sense and label it with a title and a description, just like you would a video, just like you would any blog post that you've ever done. So do that. Consider making branded mini-series. When you have an idea and it's something that you can repeat, just try and make it a series and package it, just like TV. Reverse engineer television, ladies and gentlemen, that's a content strategy. Research content that is trending whenever you're trying to build up and get attention. Like, there are other popular people doing it, but the thing is, your video might get recommended and people might click out of curiosity, so that can help. You might think that, oh, like, I can't compete with these big people, but you can actually, YouTube is probably one of the only places where trickle down actually does work. And actually, there are people who've built their entire career off of making videos that are a parody of somebody else's videos, or response to someone else's videos, or even a critique of someone else's videos. So guess what? Even if you're small, the trickle down will actually happen in YouTube, to where you can siphon attention from somebody bigger than you because your video is recommended or is in the autoplay for, oh, this is the next up thing that's relevant to this topic. Or, hey, it'll do like Amazon shopping cart. You watch this thing, you might also like content from this person. And that's how the YouTube algorithm works. So if you're ever worried about the YouTube algorithm, don't be. It's just going off user behavior. It's just trying to figure out how to put more things in your shopping cart, just like Amazon. Same game. Make content that is shareable in search, and also make content that's shareable in social. I already endlessly drilled down the importance of search, and as bloggers, you already get that. But social media is important too, and that's where viral potential comes from. And so you want things that are emotionally satisfying and shareable, especially if you're doing vlogging and you're doing family vlogging. So keep that in mind. Balance both short and long form content. I know another speaker spoke about the difference in YouTube with short and long form content. I'll tell you the secret. The secret is 7 to 16 minutes. minutes if you're not doing live streaming. If you're not doing live streaming, the secret magic number is 7 to 16 minutes. This was something that was done in a case study by Matt Gillen of Little Monster Media and formerly Frederator Networks, and he was head of programming over there, and he did a case study on the YouTube algorithm of 1,000 channels worth of anonymous data, and was able to consistently see that videos between 7 and 16 minutes outperform other video duration lengths, period. And so that is the number, and that's why most YouTube vloggers stay within that range. You can go less on some videos if you feel you need to. You can go more on others that you feel you need to. I don't worry about it as much. After 10 minutes, you get the ability to add not only pre-roll ads to make more money, but also end screen ads to make more money at the end of your video. But also, if there's a point in your video where it would make sense for a short commercial break, you can actually put mid-roll ads in your video after the 10-minute mark. I wouldn't overdo that, but it is something to consider with the length of your content from a monetization standpoint. Quick question.
Do you have to have 10,000 views in order to do the ads?
Yes, to monetize ads on YouTube, the new requirement following the YouTube ad boycott, aka the YouTube ad apocalypse, is that to vet out channels that might be fake, you have to have a minimum of 10,000 lifetime views on your channel. Now that might seem daunting, don't let it get to you. That's why I gave you an outline to content strategy that can get you views and attention. Focus on doing the content you want to do. Make sure that you're getting shares in social. Get your people to support you who are in your community, but also that's where the quantity part of YouTube comes into play, even early on. A back catalog of content is always good, but every single piece of content is an opportunity to get more views, and so getting that first 10,000 might seem impossible, but it's really not. It might take 20 or 30 videos when you're just getting started if you have nowhere else to siphon from. But again, if you're doing things that might be a response to something going on that's a headline or something that another big creator did, that's an opportunity to get there a little bit faster. So just kind of keep that in mind, but balance that against doing content that's your priority and that fits your brand and your messaging, and never go off brand or off message and do anything inauthentic. Even if you're gonna talk about other things and other people's stuff, do it from your perspective and your authentic point of view. I cannot stress that enough, because one, it matters and you wanna do what's satisfying to you. Two, people will call you out on it. And three, no one likes a hack. Monetize your message. This is the good stuff. Clap it up if you're ready to make money. So there are a lot of ways to monetize on YouTube, and I do just about every one you can think of, and then I always come up with a new one. And so most people try to live off of ad revenue. I don't recommend it. No, advertisers do what they want. Advertisers have buying cycles. I worked in that world. Most people can't appreciate, and they blame the advertisers for everything. I actually now, with the other businesses that I run and with working with clients, I use the Google AdWords platform. I used to be Google AdWords certified in corporate. I understand that what Google did was they made it harder for people who buy ads for their business to waste and squander their money on videos that won't work. And now all the YouTubers are upset about that. And I get it, it hurts your pockets, but it's like we've been benefiting from a somewhat broken system for a better part of a decade. It was bound to happen. That being said, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's still plenty of money, especially for all of you who are family friendly, to make great money on ads. Another way to make more money than that, usually though, is sponsorship. Sponsorship is great. And here's the other thing, you don't need 1 million or 100,000 subscribers. I've known YouTube family vloggers, and it won't work for everybody, by the way, but I met a couple at Vlogger Fair in Seattle, Chris Perillo's event, that had 30,000 subscribers, and they were getting about $4,000 to $5,000 per brand deal. They had a unique value proposition. They were Hispanic family vloggers who spoke in English, and so there was an opportunity with regard to certain sponsors that specifically wanted the demographics that are associated with their channel. And so the number of subscribers you have is not as relevant as you think it is. It's about what your selling potential is for an advertiser, where you can make the money and convert. Because even if you have a small niche audience, if that's the audience they're trying to reach, that's all they care about. And by the way, advertisers spend a lot of money and squander a lot of money in advertising that doesn't work and doesn't convert, and we get a lot of views and a lot of quick clicks that lead nowhere. But if someone watches a YouTube video, there's a much better chance of them buying. And so the difference is that for what we usually would burn through in Facebook and Google ads, paying you a couple of $100 for a short mention in a video is a piffling sum and a fraction of the marketing budget. I guarantee you, it is insane. People spend literally $5,000 a day for banner ads that every single one of us ignores or puts ad block on. Not even kidding. It's like, here's a practical example, show of hands. When's the last time any of you bought something, like in the last 30 days, have any of you bought something because of a banner advertisement? In the last 30 days, how many of you bought something because you were recommended it by a friend or someone you trust? Ladies and gentlemen, the power of influencer marketing. So that's your opportunity in YouTube, influencer marketing. Sponsorships and affiliate marketing, big deal. Membership groups. Some of you here might actually be doing homeschooling. It may not have occurred to you that you could start a membership group that goes beyond support and goes to lesson plans and other things, and that you might be able to charge $10 or $20 or $30 a month for something like that. There are membership groups, you might have a level of skill or expertise that you might want to share, and you could be doing a membership group and you could have individual members paying $20, $30 or upwards a month for that. There's an opportunity. Online courses if you have a skill, ebooks, audiobooks. These are all opportunities that if you have an audience that you can market and that you can advertise. You could go ahead and you could have an individual service that you might be providing that you could be promoting through your channel. I mean, that was something that elevated my freelancing as a designer and then helped with my pivot to consulting and brand development, and it still continued to do that. And I don't even buy ads for that. What I buy ads for is just overall right now brand awareness, because Instagram is the new billboard advertising, so I just throw money at it because it's cheap. It's underpriced, dramatically. Says the guy who used to make billboards for a living, by the way. Content that connects. Making sure that your content connects emotionally with people is going to be overwhelmingly valuable because, one, that's how you're going to build trust and authority. It's also how, if you need to monetize this, why people are going to support it, why people will donate to you on Patreon when you're getting started from day one, why people will sit through your ads on your channel because they just want you to make a little bit of money, little pennies on the dollar that it might be. So that's why they're going to do it, is because you connected and you satisfied them emotionally. Emotion and authenticity, vulnerability, openness, relatability. These are the triangle that you need to hit. Vulnerability. I talked about by being emotionally vulnerable to my audience and letting them know, yeah, the climb never ends. I have bad days and hard days too, and I have, mental health maintenance that I have to do on a regular basis, and it never, ever stops. So that kind of vulnerability also leads to relatability, and it requires you to be open. And the thing is, you need to be open to be able to express yourself and open to the idea that not everyone's always going to love that, okay? But the people who do and stick around are going to be more meaningful not only in your channel and your audience, but in your life. In your life, the people who value you exactly for who you are and who you're becoming is going to matter, because you will change. You will change over time, and you will change as your audience grows, and you will change as you monetize and you become more successful. And that's not a bad thing. People will tell you you've changed. People will tell you that you forgot where you came from. And guess what? You're supposed to. You're supposed to, because that's how you're going to get where you're going. And where you're going, as long as you're doing it from a place of good intentions, is supposed to provide value for other people and set a path. Because guess what? So many people are unhappy exactly where they are. Why should they stay there? If you're unhappy where you are, why should people want you to stay there, right? So be open to the fact that you are going to experience some rejection. Guess what? Your audience does too, probably every day. Be vulnerable with them about that, connect there. Be relatable. Being relatable isn't about being likable. Being relatable isn't about everyone loving you. Being relatable is about, you know what? I've been through that too, or wow, I really respect that about you, or you know what? I have had similar experiences, or hey, I'm thinking about the exact same things that you're thinking about, and I would have never guessed that. We connect, despite all of our differences, that, you know what? We're more alike than I thought. Maybe the 80-20 rule actually applies here. Who would have thunk it? So, again, the trifecta here: vulnerability, openness, relatability. Building your YouTube community. What's the value of each individual video? Who is watching it? Why are they watching it? People tell me, Roberto, I want to grow a YouTube channel. Roberto, I want a big audience. And I'm like, why? And then they don't have an answer for me. I go, hey, I want people to watch my videos. Why should they watch your videos? Because I work really hard on them. We don't care. We don't. It's like, oh, I did this drawing and everything like that. Gee, let me put it up in the auction and ask for $10,000. Nobody cares. No one cares how hard I worked. Okay? It's just true. I mean, that sounds super harsh. That sounds condescending, but it's like one of those things. I'm not likable to everybody. Like I said, it's about relatability. It's like nobody cares how hard you worked on something. What they care about is what they care about. Are you doing something that they care about or not? Okay, that's what the value is. So understand that. Who else might identify with this? Where are those people? Are they in Facebook? Are they in Instagram? What hashtags do they pay attention to? What conversations do they have on Twitter? What Twitter chats do they look at? What other YouTubers do they admire? What's the style of those people? What type of content are they producing? What's their aesthetic like? How long are they doing their videos? Like analyzing and looking at all these things. If you think about why does this matter to people? Who does it matter to? What do they care about? If you answer all of those questions, your content strategy will reveal itself to you. And then all you have to do is like, all right, now, what about me works within all of that? And that's the hat trick, pun intended. So think about that and think about how people are finding you. What other platforms can you leverage? Listen, social media for a lot of people is about broadcasting and about dictating whatever message they have, and what they refuse to do is to listen. And that doesn't mean you do what everybody tells you. It means that you listen to people when they say something makes them uncomfortable. You listen to people when they say, hey, I really like that, or hey, this is why I subscribe to you. You listen and you learn from that. And it is overwhelmingly important to do that. I cannot stress that enough, that the difference between success and failure when it comes to social media and content platforms is being able to pay attention to and listen and knowing what is it that is responsible for your victories and your losses. Because if you listen, people will tell you what they like and what they don't like. I guarantee you they cannot wait to tell you that. Content's about what you communicate. Can you be casual in a conversation? Content is about what you communicate. Tony Robbins once said, and this is one of my favorite quotes from him, is that quality of life is entirely dependent on quality of communication. Any success that I have in life can be attributed to that quote. Being able to articulate what you're thinking and feeling in a clear way. Being able to build and establish a culture around your community of what your shared values and interests are. All of these things matter, and also being able to do good visual representations of that. Because again, we may not click on that thing and hear you and hear how you express yourself, but your visual ability to communicate that with images and graphics and photography is going to resonate with us. The ability to get your point across in a short title. And in social media, again, if you can't say it well in a tweet, well, God help you. So that's what really matters, is communication and being able to bring people. If you want to build an audience in YouTube or any other platform, you have to be able to bring people together around things that they share and that they care about and that they are willing to put time and energy or even money behind. And if you can do that, if you can figure out that communication, if you can figure out how to express that, and you can figure out how to listen to people without being always defensive of the thing that you made, and figuring out that like there are some well-intentioned people who want you to do better, that want success for you, you can grow. And that is an opportunity. And again, engage with people. Amplify your content with social media by using these other platforms and engaging in Twitter. My audience asks me questions in Twitter all the time. My audience goes to Instagram to get inspiration and motivation from me and see that I'm doing like practically blog posts in my Instagram, long blog posts where I'm journaling and talking about how hard entrepreneurship actually is, and that's over glamorized in our culture, where I'm talking about the fact that artists and creatives suffer disproportionately from mental health issues and from anxiety, and we have these different emotional triggers and sensitivities that most people not only don't understand, but in the current culture don't respect. And that it's because when you're a creative person, your imagination means that every single day you're seeing the best and worst in everyone and everything in every situation. And again, not anyone is really speaking up for that. So guess what? That's why they follow me on Instagram. And that's what's different about Twitter, where it's very tactical and hey, ask me your questions, I'll answer. And then YouTube, where I'm then bringing all this stuff together, where I have all these other platforms and then I'm communicating and amplifying it there, but also giving unique value from platform to platform, because every single one of them is different. You can't just spam your message across multiple platforms. You have to connect with people. And that engagement matters. When I first started, I responded to every comment, even when I had 30,000 or I think up to 50,000 subscribers, I responded to every single comment, every single one. Now, it's nearly impossible, but guess what? I still respond to about 300 plus comments every single day, because it matters. And now it matters to people that it's like, oh wow, I'm the one that you decided to respond to out of anybody. It matters to people. So make sure you have that engagement, because when it matters to people that much, that one thank you, that one I hear you, oh wow, me too, is enough to make somebody support you for the rest of your career, the rest of their life, whatever it is, believe it or not. So, I mean, there are people that literally, I find out, oh wow, you've literally been around since the old days when I first started screwing around with this and I had no idea what I was doing. Wow. So, just understand that. Here are some final resources before we go. One of the things that I use that helps me with the SEO side is a tool called TubeBuddy. If you go to tubebuddy.com/awesome and you use the code Roberto'sBuddy, you'll get 20% off. That's an affiliate discount code they gave me, so I'm sharing that with all of you. You get 20% off. It's the tool that is my secret weapon when it comes to YouTube. For closed captioning, because there are a few people in my audience that are hearing impaired. Something that I don't talk about as much is that I spend upwards of maybe $600 a month in closed captioning my content, but I produce so much content. I do almost daily videos and it's all long stuff. So I spend $600 a month because it's $1 per minute. So if you're not me and you're doing 6-minute content and you're doing that twice a week, you could probably afford 12 bucks. But me, I'm throwing a lot of money at that because to me, that just felt like the right thing to do, and I had enough on the profitable side to justify it. So, that's what I would say. Awesome Creator Academy is my group mentoring program for creative entrepreneurs. So if you're trying to build your online business and you feel that you're a creative person, then it might be something to check out. We have a great group there. We've got over 70 members. For stock photos for my thumbnails, I use Adobe stock, graphic stock. For some of my B-roll, I use video blocks. And for my audio, I use audio blocks because you don't want copyrighted music. You will get penalized for that. Someone will take all your hard-earned ad money. You can also use the YouTube audio library, and they offer some free music as well if you're getting started, because audio blocks is a yearly membership subscription to get all the music and downloads. Vlog Like a Boss by my good friend Amy Schmittauer is a great book that will help you get started on your vlogging journey, and she'll explain not only how she did, but also some of the biggest YouTube vloggers became successful, and it's really straightforward. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. Amy, my check's in the mail, right? Hashtag not sponsored. So guys, that's pretty much it. Reach out to me in social media. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for sitting through this long presentation. And then a little bit for me too.